Good evening, I'm Keisha Butts with a CTV News update. A Prince George's police officer is arrested on federal charges for attempting to evade or defeat taxes over a 5-year period. Lieutenant Scott Finn allegedly failed to report more than $1.3 million in income from his security services business. Finn side company employs off-duty officers to provide security to apartment complexes and other businesses in Prince George's and Montgomery counties. The 46-year-old lieutenant had an initial appearance in court earlier this afternoon. In other news, a federal judge orders the Prince George's Police Department to change its current promotion system. This is part of an ongoing lawsuit against the PGPD by a group of Black and Latino officers, accusing the department of racism. The judge ordered both parties to jointly appoint an independent expert to review the promotion system and suggest changes. The current system will cease this summer and continue in October with the new recommendations. Attorney Dennis Corkery represents the officers.
We have seen consistently, especially this week, how important it is that if we are policing communities of color, that the officers policing them are the absolute best. And when you have a system that is keeping out officers of color from promoting the ranks, and that is not a system where the best officers are the ones in charge.
The county attorney's office says the PGPD welcomes this opportunity. The county launches a new user-friendly tool to help residents make appointments and find vaccination centers. The COVID-19 Vaccine Locator is an interactive map that allows users to look for local vaccination clinics. Residents will be able to choose from sites that are operated by the county health department, the state, hospitals, and pharmacies. Using the search bar on the map, residents can look up clinics within a 20-mile radius.
Once people get to the application on our website, they can search by zip code, a place name, or an address to find vaccination clinics within a 20-mile radius, or however short they want to make it, so they can find vaccination clinics near them. And then when those search results come up, the different clinics will be color coded on icons on the screen, and those color codes denote clinics that are run by either the county health department, the state of Maryland, hospital systems, and pharmacies.
The county will continue to update the vaccine locator map daily. For more information, visit myPGC/COVID vaccine. The University System of Maryland will require students to get the COVID-19 vaccination this fall. The mandate will apply to students, faculty, and staff on all Maryland campuses. The university system will allow exemptions for individuals with medical or religious concerns. Meantime, Safeway Pharmacy has partnered with the University of Maryland College Park campus. Vaccinations will be offered at the Riggs Alumni Center beginning next Monday, April 26th through Wednesday, April 28th. A local woman reported missing earlier this week has been found dead in the district. 35-year-old Stacy Kinzel was last seen Tuesday morning near Southern Avenue. Officials say foul play is not suspected in her death. At this time, D.C. police are investigating the case. You're watching CTV News. I'm Keisha Butts. We'll be back in a moment.
I am what child hunger looks like in America. I am a 9-year-old boy who hopes a friend invites me to a sleepover so I can have dinner. I am a 15-year-old girl who goes for walks during lunch so my friends won't know I don't have anything to eat. I am a 13-year-old boy who gets into fights at school just because I'm hungry. I was created by artificial intelligence from faces of the 1 in 7 American children who struggle with hunger. Kids you pass by every day but never knew they were hungry.
Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and like jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him, like he's gotta come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day and keeps me company when I'm doing schoolwork. I like it when he jumps up on the table too. He is a veggie thief. He's an incredible companion and my best friend. Can't say that I've met anybody that doesn't love him too. When I adopted Turtle, I discovered all the things that make him unique. He's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly he's all pure love.
Welcome back. Lawmakers from across the country convene in Annapolis for a bipartisan infrastructure summit this afternoon. Participants gathered to discuss a wide range of ideas, initiatives, and proposals for a federal infrastructure and public investment package.
This really is an important first step, and it's a very unusual thing, really, when you have governors, senators, and congressmen from both parties sitting down and having real discussions. It doesn't happen very often. I can't remember it happening. And so that's the first step in agreeing on some general principles about what infrastructure is and what it isn't, about the size and scope, and about the fact that it has to be bipartisan. But there's a lot more work to be done. We didn't solve all the problems of exactly what it's going to cost and how we're going to pay for it. But we've just come up with a set of principles.
In the Senate, we have a working group. We have 10 Republicans and 10 Democrats. We call it the G20 group. And we meet consistently. And we have the problem solvers with Josh and Brian coming over working with us. So we're working in a bipartisan, bicameral way to have the executive branch of the governors, the NGA, involved truly completes that triangle. It helps us have good input so we don't have redundancies or waste.
Participants also included the governors from Pennsylvania and Virginia, as well as more than a dozen members of Congress. Maryland is among the nation's most improved for vaccine equity, according to a new Bloomberg analysis. It's one of just 7 states to cut its equity gap in half. Maryland still has an above-average gap in the percentage of African Americans to receive a shot compared to their share of the population. But efforts to reach people of color appear to be yielding results. The analysis says blacks represent almost 30% of the population in the state, and just over 23% have received at least one dose. More than 1,100 Marylanders have contracted COVID-19 in the last day. That's according to the state's health department. This brings the total number of cases to more than 441,000. 8 people have died from the virus in the last 24 hours. Meantime, in Prince George's County, there are more than 82,000 coronavirus cases. A new newspaper hits the stands and computers in Laurel. The free quarterly comes in both digital and traditional newspaper form. Called Voices of Laurel, the paper is produced by a wide range of contributors, including the Laurel History Boys.
We call it a journalistic collective. So we have some of our, normal stuff in there, historical type articles and photos and whatnot, but we've also, we go out to the community and we solicit input from just regular people, some business owners, politicians, anybody who would like to contribute to it. And the response has been great so far. It hasn't been hard at all to try to convince people to write something or submit photos, or we even have an illustrator now who, Monica Sturdivant was thrilled to be able to show off some of her artwork. Since it's digital, it's very easy to distribute. We do print off a few copies and we drop them off at locally owned small businesses. And then we publicize that fact that if you want a hard print copy, you have to go to one of these small businesses, and that's where you can find it. I've always been a very big proponent of locally owned small businesses, and this is just another way that we can kind of help to get some foot traffic these days.
Contributors to the project include Laurel's Historical Society, its volunteer fire and police departments, and staff from the Laurel Leader. Don't move, we'll be back with more news in a moment.
For the latest information on COVID-19 in Maryland, visit the State Health Department website. That's health.maryland.gov. Again, health.maryland.gov. Click the link to the COVID-19 Information portal. There you'll find all the latest information about coronavirus. You'll find daily updates on cases and fatalities. Answers to questions about testing and the governor's stay-at-home order are available as well. For specific information about Prince George's, visit princegeorgescountymd.gov. That's princegeorgescountymd.gov. The site offers information about local services for residents and businesses. There's a link for COVID-19 relief donations. Also, food pantry locations are listed. And if you have any questions, call the county COVID-19 hotline at 301-883-6627. That's 301-883-6627.
Welcome back. Earth Day celebrations continue tomorrow with the Anacostia Watershed Society. There will be about 25 cleanup sites throughout the Anacostia watershed in D.C., Montgomery, and Prince George's counties. They include Cottage City Park and the Mount Rainier Nature Center. The group has hosted this event for about 30 years. The nonprofit says cleaning up the watershed will help animals and the public.
The Anacostia River, it flows into the Potomac River. That water gets treated at Blue Plains, and that becomes our drinking water for this region. So one of the main reasons why we should care about this is because we don't want, small bits of plastic from, old water bottles or whatever else might have fallen into the streams to end up in our drinking water.
To find out more information, go to anacostiaws.org. The University of Maryland is honoring two sports trailblazers. Billy Jones and Daryl Hill broke the color barrier in the Atlantic Coast Conference in the early 1960s. Jones was the first African American to play basketball at the university. Hill was the first to play football. The Performance Center at Cole Field House is being renamed in their honor. It will now be called Jones Hill House.
When I hit the campus in 1962, which was not all that popular, not even at home. And the Atlantic Coast Conference refused, threatened to disorganize or disassemble if they brought African-American athletes there. This effort was led by the two South Carolina schools, University of South Carolina and Clemson at the time. And Maryland stood its ground. It basically said, you got to do what you got to do. But we're going to start offering scholarships to African-American athletes. And they did so with me and followed up with that promise with Billy.
In my case, Coach Bud Milligan, his choosing to bring me down to the University of Maryland was pretty progressive at the time. You talk in 1964. And so Maryland has done a lot, has done an awful lot in that regard.
The university made the announcement about Jones Hill House earlier this week. Major League Baseball news. It's a first for women and the Baltimore Orioles. The team has a new public address announcer. She's Adrienne Robertson. She's the first woman to serve as the permanent public address announcer for the team. The Orioles announced the news this morning. Robertson is likely familiar to local baseball fans. She's been a longtime announcer at the Prince George's Stadium in Bowie. Robertson calls her new job a, quote, dream come true. And let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 43 degrees. Saturday, cloudy with rain possible, a daytime high near 67 and an evening low around 52. Sunday, partly sunny with a high near 68 and a low around 44. Monday, sunny with a high near 68 and a low around 48. And now for the community calendar, help is needed as summer 2021 approaches. The Greenbelt Aquatic and Fitness Center is hiring. Current job listings include camp counselors, lifeguards, water exercise instructors, and more. To apply, visit greenbeltmd.gov and search for jobs under Human Resources. And that wraps up our newscast. Join us again Monday. I'm Keisha Butts. Have a safe weekend.